Judah and Jerusalem. In other words, this is going to be the time when the Lord is going to deliver the nation of Israel out of their condition. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And that's why you have those armies over there in the Middle East fighting today, because the Lord is gathering them over there to bring judgment upon them for a particular reason. And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. And the reason why that particular war is going on over there is to fulfill prophecy and for the Lord to get vengeance back upon those nations for what they did to us. And it says, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold the girl for wine that they might drink. So basically they took little Jake boys and sold them basically to be faggots, you know, and they took the little girls and basically made them whores for wine that they may drink. You had something?
Yeah, it's a slight off topic, but the Apollo mission that I spoke about earlier, it actually started in 1963. And it ran from 1963 to 1972. But what's interesting...
1969 was a manned space shack with the Eagle had landed and all that.
Yeah, that's what's interesting, because there was six missions. Now the first one was in December of 1968, and they say, hey, it was a lunar orbit. They didn't get to the moon, which they never got to the moon. The first two was lunar orbits, but that was Apollo 8 and Apollo 10. But Apollo 11, that's the most famous one. That's the one where he made the statement, one of the astronauts made the statement, that's one step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And it was in 1969, all right, which goes back to the prophecy in the book of Obadiah, the first chapter. It says, when you set your nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down. So it's no coincidence that the most famous Apollo mission was made in 1969. That's the Apollo 11. And the word Apollo, by the way, means destruction. You know, it means destruction. So since then, America has been going down. Since 1969, America has been going down, man. You know, that's what I want to make, the point I want to make.
It says, yea, this is Joel 3 and 4. Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine, you know, which used to be run by Hamites, but now it's the so-called Arabs, them Ishmaelites that are running those areas now. Now in Palestine, you have them so-called Jews that are kicking those Palestinians out of there, you know, so them so-called Jews are taking over that land now. It says, will you render me a recompense? In other words, the Lord's saying, for what you did to us, the nation of Israel, will you be able to give the Most High a recompense, you know, a reward for what you did? It says, and if you recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Why? Because what you did to the nation of Israel was wicked, you know? It says, because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried away, and have carried them, Salake, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. Now, where in the history of the so-called Medinetta and all that other crap did they show that the Israelites or a people being sold into slavery to the so-called white men? It says, you have sold the children of Judah and Jerusalem unto the Grecians, which is the so-called white men, the Greeks, you know, which really those are Edomites that took over that land and took over the names of that land. That's why they're called Grecians today, or Greeks. It says that you might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them. And the place whither you have sold them was where? America, because when you go back into the history, you had the Arabs and the so-called Africans, the real Africans, the Hamites, that took the nation, the children of Israel, from the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, sold them to the so-called white man who put them on those cargo slave ships, and they brought them over here to the so-called Americas. And this is the place that was prepared for them. What does the Lord mean, a place prepared for them? Meaning this is where they were going to serve out their sentence, or what the Lord spoke of in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28 chapters, and other chapters. Then it says, matter of fact, before I read on there, I just got one more. This is in the book of Daniel, the 9th chapter, and I'll start at the 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured out upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our power, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. And that's why a lot of you guys in the black unconscious community, you have yet to come to the understanding of the truth, because you don't take heed to the scriptures, because you think like the white man thinks, that this Bible is a fairy tale, or that it was written by the white man. So you haven't come to the truth, because the Lord has resisted you. So since you didn't come to the truth, that's why you're in the condition that you're in, and you're going to stay in that condition till the Lord comes back and redeems you. Those of you that are part of the elect.
Yeah, I have a scripture here in 2 Kings 17 chapter. The whole chapter is good, but I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit. This is the 2 Kings 17 verse 20. It says, and the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel. Now, when you see the word Israel, it's not talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. It's talking about the other tribes, what we call the so-called Latin tribes. Because prior to this, what we're reading right now, when King Hoshea sat on the throne, prior to that, the nation of Israel was broken up into two separate kingdoms. The kingdom of Judah, which consisted of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and then the kingdom of Israel, which consisted of the rest of those tribes. And at that time, Dan was amongst the tribes. All right? Now it says, and the Lord rejected the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of the spoilers. Now you got these Nuwapians, you got the foremost speaker, Polite. He'll use that because he learned it from his child molesting master teacher, which he's locked up right now for child molestation. He taught him this, and he pushes it, and even brought this scripture out on it. And I told him, you don't even understand the scriptures, man. Because what they used, the way they taught it was, they said the spoilers meant that they were the nation of Israel was destroyed, but then they said the whole nation of Israel was destroyed. If they knew the history, they would know that Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was still in the land. Now the spoilers are referring to the Assyrians. If these dumb jackasses would continue to read, they would get the answer. All right, that's why we don't take you guys seriously, man. All right, you're just lost in this madness of this pseudo information. It says, this delivered them into the land of the spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. Cast him out of his sight, meaning he had cast him out of the homeland of the Israelites. And there's a scripture on that, but I'm not even going to bring it out right now. You're just going to have to wait. 21, it said, for he rent Israel from the house of David. Remember, Israel is talking about the other tribes outside of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. The house of David was of the tribe of Judah. Okay? And they made Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, king. He was an Ephraimite who the prophet Ahijah had took his garment off and ripped it up into 12 pieces and gave him 10 and said, you're going to take 10 parts. All right? Which meant that the prophet